All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk about unsystematic risk. Unsystematic risk is sometimes also known as diversifiable risk. So when you think about unsystematic risk, what you want to think about is risk that is company or perhaps project specific, maybe even industry specific, but it's basically affecting a subset, maybe whether a company, maybe up to an industry, of companies and investments, but not the entire market or economy as a whole. So that could be some kind of a product or marketing problem. If a company discovers that its product is catching fire accidentally, or it could, chop somebody's fingers off by accident, or or if a pharmaceutical manufacturer finds out that their drug has some kind of a nasty side effect, or something like that. So basically, it's specific to that particular entity generally. Maybe something dealing with lawsuits where a company is sued to clean up some kind of pollution or something. It only applies to one company, doesn't really affect other companies or competitors in the industry and so forth. Possibly strikes, some natural disasters in some cases. If a tornado goes through and wipes out a company's facility in one area, it generally doesn't affect like the entire industry. For the most part, it's that one company. Maybe they had a distribution facility that got wiped out. It's definitely bad, but it doesn't typically affect the entire industry. Perhaps, and the tornadoes tend to be somewhat more localized. They can wreak absolute havoc and destruction, but they tend to be relatively limited in terms of the actual geographic locale. And so it tends to not affect like the entire economy and things like that. So it's more limited. Then we get to operating risk. This is the risk due to operating leverage and other business risks. Operating leverage is all about fixed costs. So some businesses have a lot of fixed costs, and because they have a lot of fixed costs, small little changes in sales can have a disproportionate impact on their net income because the fixed costs don't go anywhere. So I have a little decline in sales, but all the costs are staying the same. So basically all that decline in sales winds up affecting the net income disproportionately. And so that would be something that would affect a particular company due to their operating structure. Then we have financial risk. Some companies have a lot more debt than others. So if a company has a lot of debt, small little changes in sales could really make it very difficult for them to make those interest payments on the debt. And as a result of that, that could severely affect the company, but that isn't something that really affects the economy as a whole, or that one little change wouldn't necessarily affect the economy as a whole, or even the industry, perhaps. It might be unique more to the company. And so basically, when you're thinking about unsystematic risk, think generally more company specific or project specific, something that's unique to the investment at hand, but it doesn't really affect other investments, generally speaking. And so as a result of that, unsystematic risk can be eliminated through diversification. So to give you an example of that, if I have only invested in one company, if anything happens to that company's products, they have some kind of a lawsuit issue, or we get concerns about being unsafe, or there's some kind of a labor strike, or whatever else, that could severely affect the value of my investment. On the other hand, if I take my money and I split it across 1,000 different investments, okay, so if a couple of them have some of those kinds of things, that's one thousandth of my money if I evenly split my money across those thousands of investment, or that 1,000 investments. And so if it's one thousandth of my money, it's just not going to keep me up at night. And that's the kind of thing that wouldn't really drastically affect my portfolio. And in fact, there may be some random bad thing that's happening for some company this year. That's an unsystematic risk thing, but there might also be some random unexpected good thing that happens to some other company in my 1,000 investments. So the idea is basically this is going to kind of cancel out. So I just don't have to worry about these random company specific things because I've invested in so many companies. I don't really care about a company specific kind of item. And so the key thing with unsystematic risk is because it is, think company specific, maybe industry specific. If I just diversify outside that company, I invest in lots of different things. I don't just invest in one industry. And then basically, I just don't have to worry about the unsystematic risk anymore. And so I can essentially eliminate it through diversification. All right. Hopefully this little brief video about unsystematic risk has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.